Alana tightened her grip on the elderly woman's arm as the men closed in. "Stay behind me," she whispered, even though she barely had the strength to stand. Her knees shook. Her breath fogged the chilled Los Angeles evening. She hadn't eaten since noon yesterday, her stomach twisted in empty knots. Jaden lay asleep in their battered minivan behind her, wrapped in 2 thin blankets, asthma inhaler beside him. Alana shouldn't have gotten involved. But when she saw the old woman stumble near the bus stop, sway, then collapse against the bus pole, instinct shoved her forward before fear could stop her. The woman was tiny, frail bones, silver hair tucked into a knitted cap, soft brown wrinkles spreading when she tried to smile through pain. "You're all right, Alana murmured, voice trembling. "I've got you." The woman held her arm with surprising strength. "Thank you, dear. I just need a moment." That was when the men appeared. 2 of them. Hoodies up, faces shadowed, moving with the unmistakable confidence of people who knew no one would stop them. The tall one flipped a pocket knife open with a quiet snap. Alana swallowed hard. They weren't after the old woman. She knew that immediately. They were after her. She recognized the tattoo on the tall one's wrist, a black serpent wrapped around a dagger. The same symbol she'd seen last week when 2 men tried to follow her from the shelter. Her palms went slick with sweat. The taller man stepped forward. "Looks like you're real helpful tonight." Alana instinctively pulled the old woman behind her. "We don't want trouble." "Didn't ask what you want," he said, smirking. His friend chuckled darkly behind him. The old woman trembled harder. "My son, he should be here soon." Alana's heart hammered. "Good. He can help get you home." The tall man laughed. "He ain't gonna get here fast enough. Move aside, sweetheart." Alana shook her head. Her voice wavered, but she kept herself between them. "Leave her alone." "You got some nerve," the man muttered, stepping closer, knife glinting under the streetlight. Alana's whole body tensed. She thought of Jaden sleeping in the van. She thought of what would happen if these men got past her. She took a shaky step back, shielding the elderly woman with her whole body, even though she was weak, hungry, terrified. "Back off," she said, even though it barely came out louder than a whisper. The tall man lifted the knife. And then, a scream of tires tore through the air. A black SUV swung into the street so sharply the headlights cut across all 3 of them like a spotlight. Another SUV slid in behind it, boxing the men in. Doors exploded open. 6 men in tailored black suits stepped out. Not gang members. Not cops. Something worse. Something more controlled. Something powerful. The tall man froze. His friend whispered, "Shit, run." They sprinted, disappearing into the alley faster than Alana could blink. She didn't move. Not because they were gone. But because of the man who stepped out of the first SUV. He didn't run. He didn't yell. He didn't even breathe hard. He strode toward them with brutal purpose, like every step was a warning. Tall. Broad-shouldered. Black coat swaying around his legs. Eyes so sharp she felt them cut across her skin. A man used to being obeyed. A man people shouldn't cross. He saw his mother, leaning against Alana. The shift in his expression was immediate. Fury. Fear. Relief. All laid under ice. He breathed, rushing forward. "What happened? Who touched you?" His voice wasn't loud. But it carried enough cold command that everyone within 10 feet wanted to freeze. The elderly woman lifted a shaky hand. "Deho. I'm all right. This young woman helped me." Deho. The name hit Alana's ears like a warning bell. This was Seo Deho? The same man people whispered about at the shelters? The security company owner who supposedly had ties everywhere? The ghost people feared but never saw? He crouched beside his mother, examining her carefully. His movements were gentle with her, but sharp, calculated underneath. Every time she winced, his jaw clenched. Did they hurt you? Did they threaten you?" No, she insisted, patting his cheek. "She protected me." His eyes snapped toward Alana. And for the first time, she understood why people feared him. His gaze sliced straight through her, assessing, analyzing, stripping her to her bones. "You protected my mother?" he asked, voice deadly soft. Alana swallowed. I just saw her fall." I helped her stand. You stepped in front of armed men. He wasn't asking. He already knew. Alana's heart pounded. I couldn't let them hurt her. He looked at her like she was something unfamiliar and impossible. A homeless woman protecting his mother on a street corner. He stood slowly, towering over her. Her breath caught. His presence was overwhelming, expensive cologne, sandalwood, dark musk, cold air clinging to his coat, the undeniable power radiating from him. What's your name? He asked. Alana, she whispered. His eyes flicked to the van behind her. Jaden's small face was pressed to the window, scared and pale. Your child? Daeho asked. Yes, she said quickly. We're just staying here tonight. I don't want trouble. I'll leave. You will not, he said instantly, sharply. Her heart jumped. What? You're not leaving this street alone. Not with those men hunting you. His hand twitched like he wanted to reach for her, but restrained himself. You helped my mother. You have my protection now. Alana shook her head rapidly. No, I can't be involved in whatever this is. Alana. He said her name like a command. You put yourself in danger for my family. I repay my debts. I don't want anything, she whispered. I didn't say you did, he replied. But you need protection. He stepped closer. So close she smelled the warmth of his cologne. So close she felt the strength coiled under his control. So close she saw the shadow in his eyes, something dark, something violent, something lethal. He lowered his voice. You didn't ask who those men were, he said. I don't want to know, she whispered. He held her gaze, deadly calm. You should. His mother tugged on his sleeve. Daeho, let's go home. Bring the girl and the boy. They need warmth. Alana blinked. No, we can't. Daeho didn't ask permission. He simply nodded to his men. Bring them. Wait. Alana froze. What are you doing? I don't even know you. He turned to her, eyes like steel. You will, he said. Because the men who came for you tonight aren't done. Her chest tightened. What do you mean? His answer came without hesitation, without warmth. They weren't after my mother. A pause. They were after you. Alana felt the air leave her lungs. And in that frozen moment, she realized something horrifying. The men feared him. Everyone did. Because Seo Daeho wasn't just powerful. He was dangerous. Unstoppable. And now, her only chance at surviving the night. Alana didn't breathe the entire ride to wherever they were going. She sat in the back seat of the sleek black SUV, Jaden curled against her side, inhaler clutched in his hand. Her heartbeat hadn't slowed once. Not since the moment Seo Daeho said, they weren't after my mother. They were after you. His mother had insisted on sitting beside Alana and Jaden, gently touching Alana's arm now and then, murmuring comforting things in Korean. Alana didn't understand a word, but the woman's warmth soothed her like nothing else had in months. But Daeho? He rode in the front, silent and tense, lit only by the glow of the dashboard. She kept catching glimpses of him in the rearview mirror, sharp profile, clenched jaw, hands tight around the steering wheel. Every few seconds, he glanced back at her. Not with softness. Not with curiosity. But with calculation, like he was trying to solve her, figure out why men were hunting her, why she stepped in front of danger she couldn't possibly handle. And what he needed to do about it. When the SUV finally slowed, Alana felt her stomach drop. This wasn't a house. It was a fortress. Tall, modern gates of black steel. Stone pillars framed with security cameras. Another SUV behind them, two in front. The gate opened without anyone asking. As if they were expected. As if everything in the world yielded to this one man. Where are we? Alana whispered, unable to hide the tremor in her voice. Daeho turned slightly. My property. She swallowed hard. This is a mansion. No, his voice was even. Controlled. This is the safe one. The safe one? How many mansions did he have? The SUV rolled up a long driveway lined with tall bamboo. The entrance was lit by soft golden lights. Large sliding glass doors opened automatically as the convoy pulled up. Daeho's men stepped out first. Weapons visible. Eyes sharp. Movements precise. Not security guards. Something else. The back door opened and a voice spoke gently. Ms. Price, please. It took her a second to realize the man was addressing her. Her? Ms. Price, the homeless single mother? Since when did anyone speak to her with that kind of respect? She held Jaden's hand and stepped out carefully. He immediately clung to her sleeve. Mom, where are we? Who are these people? I don't know, baby, she whispered. But stay close. Deho circled the SUV, checking on his mother first. Only after she was steady did he turn to Alana. Come inside, he said. She stiffened. We're not staying here. I just wanted to make sure your mother got home safely. He studied her face, reading her lies with ease. You wanted to run. Her jaw tightened. Because I don't belong here. His voice dropped. You don't belong in that van either. Her cheeks burned. Shame twisted in her stomach. She hated that he saw it. Hated that this stranger with impossible wealth and power now knew she lived in a minivan. I didn't ask for your help, she whispered. No, his gaze sharpened. You didn't ask for their attention either. Silence hung heavy. Then his mother reached for Alana's hands, her small fingers warm and gentle. You saved me, the old woman said softly, accent thick but voice clear. Stay tonight. Rest. For my heart. The way she said it, emotional, sincere, made Alana's eyes sting. Jaden tugged her sleeve. Please, Mom? Just for tonight? I'm tired. Her son's voice broke her. She nodded weakly. Deho motioned for one of his men. Prepare a room for them. A room. Alana echoed, startled. We only need Miss Price. He cut her off with a tone that brooked no argument. You and your son will sleep somewhere warm and safe. That is not negotiable. Her throat tightened. She hated needing help. Hated how vulnerable she was. But Jaden needed warmth. He needed a real bed. He needed air he wasn't choking on. And tonight, she couldn't give him any of that. Inside, the house was breathtaking. Warm lights, polished wood, art on the walls, a faint scent of cedar and something earthy. Nothing flashy. Understated luxury. Jaden spun slowly, eyes wide. Mom, it's huge. Stay close, she murmured, though her voice wavered. Deho's mother took Jaden's hand with grandmotherly ease. You like cookies? His face lit up. Yes. She smiled. Then come. Jaden hesitated, looking at Alana for permission. When she nodded, he followed the woman toward the kitchen. Alana's chest eased for the first time all day. Until she realized Deho was now standing directly in front of her. She tensed. His eyes roamed her face again, slow, deliberate, unsettling. Not lustful. Not curious. Evaluating. You didn't tell me why those men were after you, he said. Her stomach knotted. I don't know. You're lying. Her breath hitched. I'm not. People like them don't stalk strangers, he said softly. Not without a reason. She took a shaky step back. I have nothing to do with them. I swear. He didn't blink. Didn't move. Didn't believe her. But he didn't push, not yet. Instead, he said, eat. Rest. Your son is safe here. Safe. She hadn't heard that word in months. She swallowed. Thank you. For tonight. He didn't respond. Just watched her with that unreadable, unnerving stare. She turned away, desperate to escape his gaze, when suddenly, her phone buzzed. She almost never got messages. No one contacted her anymore. But the screen lit up with a number she didn't know. And one sentence that chilled her to her core. We know where you are, Alana. Her blood froze. She turned slowly, eyes wide, breath gone, toward the man behind her. Deho saw her face and was at her side in a blink. What happened? His voice sharpened, cold as steel. Who contacted you? She held out the phone with trembling fingers. He read the message. The air changed. It turned darker. Heavier. Violent. His jaw clenched. His eyes went ice cold. He lifted his gaze to hers and said, with a quiet rage that made her knees weaken. They found you. Her pulse roared. Deho, what do they want from me? she whispered. He stared at her for a long, terrible moment. Then he said, "Something you don't even realize you have." Alana didn't fully understand the danger she was in until she saw the way Seo Deho reacted to that text message. He didn't shout. He didn't curse. He didn't pace. He went completely still. The kind of stillness that meant violence was seconds away. His eyes moved once, to the hallway where his mother and Jaden's laughter echoed faintly from the kitchen, then back to her phone. "Alana," he said quietly, "where did you see that serpent tattoo before tonight?" She opened her mouth, but nothing came out. Her throat worked. Her breath stuck. She shook her head helplessly. I don't know who they are," she whispered. He stepped closer. Too close. The faint scent of sandalwood and smoke curled around her. "You're lying." The worst part was, he didn't sound angry. He sounded certain. "I'm not." "You're terrified, you're exhausted, but you're not stupid." His gaze pinned her. "No one gets hunted twice by the same men unless they're trying to silence you. Or acquire you. Which is it?" "Neither," she cried. "I don't know anything. I haven't done anything." His next words cut her off. "Then why did they send this?" He held up her phone. "We know where you are." Her vision blurred. Fear? Shame? She couldn't tell. She blinked rapidly. A soft voice called from the hall, "Dehoa?" His mother. He turned instantly, his whole aura changing, danger evaporating, warmth sliding in like a mask he'd worn for decades. Stay in the kitchen," he said gently. "I'll be right there." She nodded and left, trusting him completely. As soon as she was out of sight, the cold snapped back into his eyes like a switch had been flipped. He addressed one of his men in Korean, quick words, clipped, sharp. The man nodded and disappeared. "Follow me," Deho ordered. Where?" "Somewhere safe." She hesitated, but he didn't wait. He turned and walked deeper into the house. His steps were quiet, controlled. She followed because she had no choice. Not when Jaden was here, not when those men had her number, not when her body was still shaking. He led her down a hall to a private elevator she didn't notice before. He pressed his palm against a scanner. A soft beep. The doors clicked open. Inside was another level of the home, deeper, hidden, secure. She didn't realize he had pulled out the heavy weapon he kept strapped under his coat until the elevator doors closed behind them. Her breath disappeared. "Why do you need a gun? In your own house?" He didn't answer right away. When he did, his voice was ice. "Because danger doesn't stop at my front door." The elevator opened into a dimly lit suite, expansive, lined with polished black stone and glass. The air smelled faintly like cedar and gun oil. A wall of monitors displayed live security feeds from every angle of the property. The house. The driveway. The street. He moved toward the screens, eyes scanning fast. "Sit," he said. She didn't. I don't know what you're expecting from me," she whispered. "I told you, I'm not part of anything." He finally looked at her. "Alana. Listen to me." He spoke slowly, clearly. "You are homeless. You have nothing to steal. You have no connections. You're running from no one, except the men with that tattoo." His gaze darkened. "So something is missing." Her breath trembled. "I don't understand." He pointed to one of the screens, zoomed in footage of the two men who tried to attack her tonight. The serpent tattoos glistened under streetlights. "These men," he said, "are foot soldiers of a syndicate known as the Ghost Serpents." Her stomach twisted. "I don't know anything about a gang." He stepped closer, lowering his voice. "They don't chase people without a reason. And they don't fail twice unless the target has something valuable." "I don't," she cried. "I've lost everything." He stared at her. And slowly shook his head. "Alana, people are rarely hunted for what they know. A beat. They are hunted for what they saw." Her throat closed. Saw? Saw what? Her mind raced, but all she saw were shelters, parking lots, hospitals, streets, nothing criminal, nothing gang-related, nothing that would attract men like this. Except, a memory flickered. Sharp. Sudden. 2 weeks ago. She had been walking behind the old train yard, looking for a safe place to sleep. She heard gunshots. Saw shadows. A man bleeding. Another shouting. A tattoo. A serpent. She had run away before they saw her. She hadn't told a soul. Except. Her chest tightened. Oh God. That night, she whispered, voice cracking. At the train yard. I heard something. I ran. I didn't think anyone noticed. Daeho did not curse. He did not panic. His jaw simply clenched, his eyes narrowing like a hunter locking onto prey. You witnessed a ghost serpent execution, he said flatly. Alana staggered backward and grabbed the edge of a table to stay standing. Her nails dug into the wood. No, she whispered. No, I didn't see faces. I didn't ID anyone. That doesn't matter. He stepped toward her. You were a witness. And witnesses disappear. She pressed a shaking hand to her forehead. I don't want to die. I can't, Jaden. He grabbed her shoulders, firm, grounding, almost gentle. Look at me. She did. Nothing will happen to you, he said. Or your son. Not while you are under my protection. Something inside her cracked, not trust, but something close. Something fragile. But why? She whispered. Why are you doing this? His eyes softened, only slightly. You saved my mother, he said. Now I save you. Before she could respond, a voice crackled through the intercom in fast Korean. Daeho's expression turned to steel. He pressed a button. Repeat that. A tense voice answered. He listened. His eyes went black with fury. He turned slowly toward her. They found your van, he said. And they searched it. Her stomach dropped. Jaden's things. They tore through everything. His voice dropped lower. Slow. Deadly. They're hunting you. Actively. Air left her lungs. Where is Jaden? She whispered. Where's your mother? In the kitchen upstairs, he said. My men are with them. She didn't realize she had reached for his arm until she felt the warmth of it under her palm. She snatched her hand back, embarrassed, but he didn't react. He didn't have time to. The elevator chimed. And one of his men rushed out, face pale. Boss, the man said, breathless. We picked something up on surveillance. What is it? Daeho demanded. The man swallowed. A black van. Same plate as the men from earlier. A beat. They circled the block 4 times. Alana froze. No. No. Not here. Not near Jaden. Daeho stepped so close she felt his heat. His voice was a whisper, steady, razor-sharp. You and your son are no longer safe anywhere but beside me. Her breath hitched. What do we do? He held her gaze. We prepare, he said. For war. Alana barely slept. Every creak in the mansion felt like a warning. Every shadow near the windows made her heart seize. She spent half the night sitting beside Jaden's bed in the guest suite, watching him breathe, making sure nothing, no one, could reach him. She didn't know how long she stayed there before exhaustion dragged her eyelids closed. When she woke again, sunlight filtered through linen curtains. Jaden was still asleep, curled around a plush blanket someone had placed over him. Breathing steady. Safe. Safe, because of a man she didn't fully understand. A soft knock sounded at the door. She tensed. Who is it? It's me, came the smooth, low voice she now recognized instantly. Seo Daeho. Alana inhaled slowly before opening the door. He stood in the hallway dressed in black slacks and a simple gray sweater, less intimidating than the tailored coat and gloves from last night. But the aura? The quiet command? Still there, wrapped around him like a second skin. His eyes flicked to Jaden. He slept well. Yes. Her voice came out hoarse. She cleared her throat. Thank you. He nodded once. Come downstairs when you're ready. Breakfast is prepared. Prepared. Not cooked. Prepared. She wondered how many people in this house existed just to keep Daeho alive. Jaden stirred. Mom, where are we? A safe place, she whispered, brushing his hair back. For now. The kitchen was warm with morning light and smelled like butter, brown sugar, and jasmine tea. Daeho's mother was already there, bustling happily as if she hadn't almost collapsed last night. Good morning, dear, she said, beaming at Alana and Jaden. Eat, eat. You need strength. Jaden blinked at the table full of food, eggs, waffles, fresh fruit, even bowls of miso soup. His eyes widened. Is this all for us? Everyone, she said, patting his cheek. Sit. Jaden obeyed quickly. The old woman pinched his chin softly, then looked at Alana with a knowing smile, one that made heat rise to Alana's cheeks for reasons she didn't want to name. Daeho entered quietly. He didn't sit immediately. He stood behind his mother, resting a gentle hand on her shoulder, checking her condition with a soft gaze Alana had never seen on him before. When he finally sat across from Alana, their eyes met briefly. A spark. A tension she felt low in her stomach. But he broke it instantly. He turned to Jaden, tone softer than she expected. Did you sleep well? Jaden nodded shyly. Yeah. Thank you, sir. You may call me Daeho, he said. Jaden poked his fork into a waffle. Mom says I shouldn't talk to strange men. Alana choked. A silence. And then, Daeho's mother burst into laughter. Even Daeho's lips twitched ever so slightly. Your mother is very wise, he said, a glint in his eyes. But I am not a stranger now. Jaden seemed to accept that, stuffing more waffle into his mouth. Alana, however, kept her distance. The warm kitchen, the sunlight, the soft domesticity, it was too easy to forget who he truly was. And what hunted them? She watched as he quietly directed his men through discreet hand signals, never raising his voice, never showing panic. Even eating breakfast, he looked alert, coiled for violence beneath calm skin. After the meal, Daeho rose. Walk with me, he told Alana. Her chest tightened. Is something wrong? Many things, he replied. That wasn't comforting. Still, she followed him down a hallway lined with silent bamboo plants and minimalistic art. He led her to a sunlit room overlooking a courtyard, floor-to-ceiling glass, soft grey rugs, shelves lined with books and sleek security monitors tucked discreetly into corners. A sanctuary and a war room combined. He gestured for her to sit. She didn't. I prefer to stand, she said. His eyes flicked down her posture, tight shoulders, clenched hands, then back to her face. You're afraid, he said. She bristled. Of course I'm afraid. Good, he said quietly. Fear keeps you sharp. Fear keeps me awake at night, she shot back. Fear is killing me. He stepped closer. Fear is why you are alive. A silence stretched between them. She broke it first. What exactly do you expect us to do? Stay here forever? No, he said. Only until the ghost serpents are dealt with. How long will that take? He didn't respond immediately. His jaw tightened a fraction. Not long, he said finally. But you cannot leave this place. They are watching. Her throat closed. I can't let Jaden live in fear. He's safer here than anywhere else. That's not the point. Her voice cracked, and she hated that she sounded desperate. Daeho's expression softened, a rare flicker of humanity peeking through the ice. You are carrying too much alone, he said quietly. She blinked. And what? You think you can fix it? No. He stepped closer, close enough for her to feel the warmth radiating from him. I think I can protect you. Her breath hitched. She took a step back, his presence overwhelming her senses. I don't even know who you are, she whispered. His gaze burned into hers. You know enough. No, she insisted. I know what people whisper. That your security company is a front. That you're dangerous. That people fear you. That no one crosses your family. He didn't deny any of it. Instead he said, and yet you crossed my path. She swallowed hard. I didn't choose that. No. But you protected my mother. His eyes softened a degree. And that means something to me. Her stomach twisted. Why? He didn't answer. Not directly. Instead, he gestured to the far end of the glass room, where Jaden was visible through the doorway, playing with a wooden puzzle on the floor. Your son, Daeho murmured. He smiles again. Alana's breath caught in her throat. Men like me, he continued softly, we don't bring peace into people's lives. A pause. But you brought peace into hers. Into my mother's. His voice dropped even further. And Alana felt it, warm and dangerous, like a slow ember catching fire. She calls you our angel already. Her eyes stung. That's not, I didn't do anything special. You risked your life for her. I'd risk my life for anyone, she whispered. He studied her. A slow exhale left his chest. That is why they want you dead. Her heart stopped. People like you, he said, witness things. Protect strangers. Stand up when no one else does. His gaze sharpened. You think that makes you invisible. It doesn't. She swallowed thickly. Then what do we do now? His answer came like steel. Now we prepare. Then softer. And we stay close. Her breath caught again. Close. His eyes flicked to her lips. Barely. But she felt it like a spark. Yes, he murmured. Very close. For a moment. A fragile, impossible moment. The world quieted. The tension shifted. His hand brushed hers, accidental, intentional, she couldn't tell. Her pulse raced. His breath hitched. They leaned an inch closer. And the glass door slammed open. One of his guards rushed in, panting. Boss, movement detected. The serpents, they're probing the perimeter. The tension shattered. Daeho's eyes went cold. Get everyone to defensive positions, he ordered. No one gets near the boy. Jaden. Alana's heart lunged into her throat. Daeho looked at her, real fear flickering behind his control. This is only the beginning, he said. And she understood, in that moment. This wasn't proximity. This wasn't safety. This was the start of a war she had no choice but to fight in. Alana didn't realize she was holding her breath until she heard the pounding of boots thundering through the mansion. Guards sprinted past the glass room, guns drawn, voices low but urgent. The ghost serpents were testing the perimeter, testing them, and every instinct in her body screamed danger. Daeho didn't flinch. He didn't panic. He moved. Quickly. Decisively. Silently. Stay with Jaden, he said, stepping toward the hall. Alana grabbed his wrist before she could stop herself. Wait, are they here now? He paused, eyes flicking down to where her fingers circled his skin. She tried to pull back, embarrassed, but he gently tightened his hand around hers, anchoring her for one breath, one heartbeat. Not yet, he said. But they will be. Her pulse hammered. You can't go out there alone. I won't be alone. His voice softened, just slightly. You and your son are my priority. I'll handle the rest. But she shook her head. Hard. No. I'm done hiding in rooms while everyone else risks their life. She looked him in the eye. Tell me how to help. That stopped him. Really stopped him. He studied her, searching, weighing, trying to decide if her determination was bravery or recklessness. Then, for the first time, Alana saw something crack through his calm. Respect. You want to help? He asked quietly. Yes. He nodded once. Then come. He led her to a smaller, dimmer part of the mansion, a secondary command room lined with screens and communication equipment. 2 guards stood inside, monitoring the perimeter feeds. Daeho motioned for them to give Alana space. On the central screen, a dark van circled the block again. And again. And again. Every time it passed the mansion, it slowed. They're mapping your security, she whispered. He turned, surprised. How do you know that? I used to work in a hospital. We had stalkers sometimes, obsessed patients, angry family members. Security taught us what Reckon looks like. She pointed to the pattern of the van's movements. They're checking how quickly your guards respond. How far your cameras reach. Where you're weakest. His eyebrows lifted slightly. He didn't smile. But approval shone through his gaze like a flicker of light in a dark room. Good, he murmured. Very good. Her chest warmed at the praise. So what's the plan? You'll help me identify weak points, he said, motioning her closer. My men see threats through the lens of force. You see them through the lens of survival. We need both. A shiver raced through her, fear, adrenaline, maybe something else entirely, because hearing those words from him felt like stepping into a world she wasn't sure she was ready for. Still, she stepped closer. For the next hour, they worked side by side. She pointed out blind spots in the camera angles, places a person could hide behind a stone column or the tall bamboo near the gates. She noted the timed lapse of the black van, predicting where the serpents might breach. She suggested moving 2 guards to flank the east side where shadows pooled. Daeho listened. Really listened. At one point, he leaned over her shoulder to examine a monitor she was adjusting. The warmth of his breath skimmed her neck. Her spine tingled so sharply she almost lost her train of thought. "Here," she whispered, clicking a timestamp. "See how they slow down under this tree? They are waiting for something. Or someone." He reached past her, his fingers brushing the back of her hand as he enlarged the frame. A spark shot through her. Instant. Dangerous. He stilled, but didn't pull away. "You're very observant," he murmured. "I pay attention when people want me dead," she breathed. His jaw tightened. "No one touches you. Not now. Not ever." The promise in his voice was so intense, her stomach flipped. He straightened, expression dark. "I'll put extra men here," he said, pointing at the blind spot. "And here. Anyone who gets through will regret it." She swallowed. "You talk like someone who's done this before." "A lot." "I have." There was no pride in his voice. No apology either. Just truth. She hesitated, then asked the question she'd been terrified to ask. "Why does your mother think you run a security company?" That earned a long, quiet silence. Finally, he answered. "Because she raised a son who should have had a clean life." His eyes softened, darkened. A son who should never have seen blood. The weight of those words pushed at her chest. Alana stepped closer. "You protect her from the truth." "I protect her from the world I chose," he said. "The world that chose me." Something fragile and painful glimmered behind his expression. For a man like him to show even that much, it meant something. She took a breath. "I'm sorry. For whatever pushed you into it." He shook his head. "Don't pity me." "I don't," she said quietly. "I just understand what it feels like to lose control of your life." He looked at her then, really looked at her. 2 people who fought battles in different ways, wearing different scars. Before she could look away, another guard burst into the room. "Boss," the guard said, breathless. "We caught movement in the south garden. Just shadows, but..." Daeho was instantly sharp and cold again. "Double perimeter. Bring the dogs out. And no one moves alone." The guard ran off. Alana's heart thudded. "Is it them?" "Maybe." His voice was lower now. Darker. More dangerous. She stepped closer to him, not because he needed her, but because she suddenly needed him. "What do we do?" she asked. His eyes dropped to her lips for one brief second before he forced himself to look away. "You," he said, voice strained, "stay with my mother. And stay close to Jaden." "And you," she whispered. He exhaled slowly. "I'll keep them out." She touched his arm. "Be careful." It was supposed to be simple. Just a touch. But the moment her fingers met his, everything shifted. He caught her hand. Held it. Brought her closer, so close she felt the heat of him everywhere. "Alana," he murmured, eyes dark, unreadable. "You don't know what you do to me." Her breath caught. "I." Before she could finish, he leaned in. Slow. Too slow. His lips brushed hers, light, hesitant, like testing a flame. Time froze. Her hand slid up his chest on instinct, gripping his sweater. His other hand cupped her jaw, tilting her chin up. When he kissed her fully, deeply, it wasn't gentle. It was hungry. Pent up. Dangerous. A man who lived in shadows, kissing like he'd found something bright. When they finally broke apart, breathless, shaken, he rested his forehead against hers. "This is a mistake," he whispered. She swallowed. "Then why does it feel right?" His thumb stroked her cheek. "Because I want you." Her knees weakened. "But wanting you puts you in more danger." "So does pushing me away," she whispered. He looked tortured, caught between desire and fear. "That's why I can't decide if I should hold you closer," he breathed, "or send you far away." Before she could answer, a sharp alarm blared from one of the screens. Movement. Fast. Approaching. A guard shouted from outside the room. "Boss." They are here. And just like that, the warmth vanished. Daeho straightened, eyes turning to steel. A warrior again. A leader. He grabbed her hand one last time, squeezing hard. Stay alive, he said. For me. Then he ran toward the danger. Leaving Alana with one truth. This wasn't just about protection anymore. This was about him. This was about them. And the war was no longer coming. It had arrived. Alana didn't remember running. Only fear. Only the pounding of her heartbeat drowning out everything except one thought. Find Jaden. The alarms wailed through the mansion, shrill, urgent, echoing off marble and wood. Guards sprinted past her with weapons drawn. Orders crackled through radios in rapid Korean. Red lights blinked along the hallway like a warning. They are here. The ghost serpents. She turned a corner just as Daeho's mother opened the guest room door, startled by the noise. Alana? What's happening? Get back inside. Alana grabbed her hand. We need to stay safe. Jaden, where's Jaden? He's in the playroom, the old woman said. Alana took off down the hallway, heart slamming against her ribs. Her palms were slick with sweat. Her breath tore out in harsh bursts. She burst into the playroom. Jaden stood frozen in the middle of the floor, wide-eyed, clutching a plastic toy sword like it was real. Mom. Alana scooped him into her arms. Baby, it's okay. I've got you. But it wasn't okay. The ground trembled. A heavy thud sounded from somewhere deeper in the mansion. Jaden whimpered. Mom, is it them? She didn't want to answer. Didn't want him to see her fear. She forced her voice steady. It doesn't matter who it is. You're with me. She turned to Daeho's mother. We have to get somewhere secure. The old woman nodded, face pale but calm. Come. She led them to a door Alana hadn't noticed before, blending into the wall. When she opened it, Alana realized it wasn't a closet. It was a panic room. Steel walls. Reinforced door. Emergency supplies. Monitors showing live feeds from around the mansion. Alana ushered Jaden inside. Stay near me. Don't look at the screens too much. But Jaden looked anyway. 8 different camera angles filled the wall. Outside, guards moved in formation. Shadows flickered across the courtyard. The bamboo trees swayed unnaturally. And then, a figure appeared on one of the feeds. Tall. Broad. Wearing a black mask. Serpent tattoo coiling up his left arm. Right outside the garden wall. Jaden's breath hitched. Mom. I see him, she whispered, pulling him close. Another figure appeared. Then another. 5. 7. More. They were surrounding the mansion. Daeho's voice suddenly burst through the intercom radio mounted on the wall. All teams, perimeter breach confirmed. South wall. Engage. Alana froze. He was fighting. Out there. Against men who wanted her dead. She stared at the radio, willing it to speak again. Then, a gunshot cracked outside. Followed by 2 more. Shouts. Footsteps pounding. Dog barks. Something crashing. Jaden covered his ears and cried into her side. Alana held him tight, fighting her own panic. It's okay, she whispered, voice trembling. We're safe here. He won't let anything happen. She hoped it was true. But her insides twisted with doubt. Because this wasn't a little danger. This wasn't some men chasing a witness. This was a full assault on a Mafia boss's home. And Daeho was in the middle of it. Another loud thud echoed through the wall. The lights flickered. Daeho's mother clasped her hands, whispering a prayer in Korean. Alana's heart cracked watching her. A mother terrified for her son. Just like she was terrified for hers. The panic room door suddenly vibrated, just a little, but enough to make Alana jump. Jaden gasped. Mom. Someone's here. No, no, she said, pulling him back. The door is reinforced. No one can open it. But the vibration came again. Then a muffled sound. Then another. Alana grabbed the only object within reach, a fire extinguisher. Ridiculous weapon or not, she refused to let anyone near Jaden. She stood ready. Shaking. Terrified. But ready. The intercom crackled suddenly. Anna. Static. Alana, answer if you hear me. Her chest seized. Daeho. She lunged for the radio button. I'm here. We're inside the panic room. Static drowned the line. Then his voice cut through again, sharp, breathless, strained. Stay there. Do not open the door. No matter what you hear. I'm holding them back. The line cut. Daeho, she shouted. Daeho, answer me. Silence. Jaden clung to her shout. Mom, did something happen to him? Her throat tightened so hard she could barely speak. He's fighting. That's all we know. He was fighting for them. Because of her. Because of a choice she made at a bus stop. Her stomach twisted. I shouldn't have dragged us into his world. But the old woman shook her head fiercely. No, she whispered. He dragged himself into yours. Because you saved me. Alana swallowed hard. Another blast of gunfire erupted outside. Jaden cried out. She hugged him tighter, stroking his hair. It's okay, she whispered, even though she wasn't sure anymore. A shadow moved across one of the monitors, fast. Then another. 2 Serpent members sprinted along the east wall. A gunshot. One fell. The other darted behind the bamboo. The camera follow-up was grainy, but Alana recognized the figure emerging through the smoke. Daeho. His coat was gone. His arm was bleeding. His face was fierce, jaw clenched, eyes blazing. He fought like a man who didn't fear death. Like a man who feared losing someone else. Alana pressed her hand to her lips, eyes stinging. Please, please be okay. He disappeared from the camera angle. Moments later, a loud crash echoed through the walls again. Jaden coughed, a deep, wheezing cough. Alana snapped instantly into medical mode. Jay, where's your inhaler? He tried to speak but couldn't. She dug through the panic room supplies, shaking, until she found it. She pressed it to his lips. Deep breath, baby. Slow. Slow. He inhaled shakily. Again. Again. His body eased a little. Daeho's mother came to her side. He is okay. He will be, Alana whispered. Just needs rest. And calm. But how could anyone be calm now? Another explosion hit outside, closer this time. Dust rained from the floor vent. Jaden flinched hard. Mom, he whispered, voice breaking. Are we going to die? No. Her voice was steady now. Determined. Fierce. No one is dying today. Do you hear me? He nodded, hugging her tightly. Alana forced herself to breathe. Forced herself to focus. Forced herself to be strong. For Jaden. For herself. For the man outside risking everything. Suddenly, the camera feed on screen 3 flickered. Then steadied. Daeho reappeared. And he wasn't alone. A masked serpent had him pinned against the wall, a knife pressed to his throat. Alana's blood turned to ice. No, she whispered. No, no, no. Daeho struggled, grabbing the attacker's wrist, trying to twist free, but he was injured. Slower. Weaker. The blade pressed closer. Jaden whimpered. Daeho's mother cried out, covering her mouth. Alana felt something inside her snap. Fear vanished. Hesitation vanished. All that remained was one truth. She couldn't sit in this room and let him die. Not after everything he'd done. Not after the way he looked at her. Not after that kiss. Not after the way he promised to protect her son. She made the decision before she even felt her feet move. I'm going out there. Daeho's mother gasped. No, Alana. Jaden grabbed her hand. Mom, no. You said we had to stay here. She knelt, cupping his face. Listen to me, baby. Listen carefully. You're safe in here. Nothing can get inside. But out there, someone is fighting for us. His eyes filled with tears. But you're gonna get hurt. No, she whispered, kissing his forehead. I'm going to keep us all safe. I promise. And then, with shaking hands, and a heart pounding against her ribs, Alana reached for the panic room door release. Daeho's mother whispered, terrified, Child, why? Alana lifted her chin. Because he saved my son. A beat. And now I save him. She pulled the lever. The door unlocked with a metallic thud. As it slid open, Alana stepped out into the dim hallway, fear burning through her, courage pushing harder. The war wasn't outside anymore. It was here. And she was done hiding. Alana had never heard her own heartbeat this loud. It thundered in her ears, vibrating through her bones as she slipped out of the panic room and into the dim hallway. The alarms blared overhead. Smoke drifted in from somewhere deeper in the mansion. The air tasted like gunpowder and danger. Behind her, Jaden screamed, as the steel door sealed shut again. Her chest cracked at the sound, but she didn't stop. Couldn't stop. Not when she'd seen the man who saved her pinned against a wall, a knife to his throat. If she hesitated now, he'd die. Footsteps thundered somewhere ahead, multiple pairs, heavy, fast, wrong. She pressed herself against the wall, forcing her breathing to steady. Her hands shook violently. She had nothing, no weapon, no plan, but she kept moving. She reached the end of the hallway. A door hung open. Inside, the room was wrecked. Broken chairs, shattered glass, blood smeared across the floor. A guard lay unconscious near the doorway, breathing shallowly. She knelt and checked his pulse. Weak but present. He stirred, whispering, "Serpent, second floor." Alana's stomach clenched. Second floor. That's where she saw Daeho fighting on the monitors. She ran. Up the stairs. Bare feet slapping stone. Breathing ragged. The second-floor corridor was drowned in shadows except for flashes of light from muzzle fire in the distance. She ducked instinctively as a bullet tore past the wall near her head. Her heart lurched. But she kept going. Her pulse roared so loud she didn't hear the footsteps behind her until a hand clamped around her wrist. She gasped, twisting. A guard. One of Daeho's. "Miss Price, what the hell are you doing out here?" She yanked her arm free. "Where is Daeho?" "He ordered everyone to keep you in the panic room." "He's going to die," she yelled. "Tell me where." The guard hesitated only a fraction of a second, then pointed to the far end of the hallway. "East Wing. Storage hall." She ran before he could stop her. The East Wing was darker. Quieter. Too quiet. Her breath came in sharp bursts as she slowed. The hallway was lined with shelves of old books, locked cabinets, weapon crates. The air smelled like oil and dust. Then she heard it. A struggle. Metal scraping. Words hissed through clenched teeth. A grunt of pain. She crept forward until she saw them. Daeho. Pinned against the wall. Bleeding heavily from his arm and shoulder. The ghost serpent attacker, the one with the dagger, pressed him harder against the stone, the blade nicking his throat. A thin line of blood trickled down his skin. "Boss," the man taunted, voice low and sickly amused. "You're weaker than the rumors say." Daeho spat blood. "Then kill me and find out how wrong you are." Not fear. Not pleading. Even cornered, he was defiant. The serpent hissed, "You had something I wanted. That woman saw too much." Alana's stomach twisted. He meant her. "And now," the man continued, lifting the blade, "you'll both die." Alana didn't think. She grabbed the closest thing, a thick metal candlestick from a shelf, and sprinted forward silently. 3 steps. 2. 1. She swung with everything she had. The metal slammed into the back of the serpent's skull. He staggered, knife slipping from his fingers. Daeho reacted instantly, kicking the man's knee sideways, twisting him down. The attacker fell to the floor with a scream. Alana didn't freeze. Didn't wait. Didn't think. She slammed the candlestick down again. And again. The attacker groaned, crawling backward, reaching for his knife. Daeho stomped his hand, snapping bone, and pointed his gun at the man's head. But before he could shoot, the serpent laughed, a horrible, rattling sound. "You think this is over," he croaked. "We're everywhere. She's dead the second you blink." The words made Alana's stomach drop. Daeho's jaw clenched so hard she thought it might crack. "No," he said coldly. "She dies over my dead body." And he pulled the trigger. The echo shook the entire hall. The serpent collapsed, lifeless. The silence that followed rang in her ears. Daeho turned to Alana slowly. His chest heaved. Blood soaked half his shirt. He stared at her as if she were a hallucination. "Alana," he breathed. "What are you doing here?" She didn't answer. She couldn't. Not when he looked like that. Not when he was hurt, exhausted, and still trying to protect her even while dying. He took one step toward her. stumbled, caught the wall. She rushed to him. Sit, she ordered, guiding him to the floor. He shook his head. I told you to stay in the panic room. She pressed her hand to his wound, ignoring his flinch. If I stayed there, you'd be dead. He grabbed her wrist weakly. That was my risk, not yours. No, her voice cracked. You don't get to decide I'm worth dying for. His expression softened, painful, raw, emotional. And you don't get to decide I'm not. She swallowed hard. Daeho. He leaned his forehead against hers. She felt his trembling breath. His heat. His fear, real, for the first time. I've killed for many reasons, he whispered. Power. Revenge. Survival. His voice shook. But tonight. I fought because losing you terrified me more than anything. Her breath hitched. You're bleeding out. Then let me say this before I pass out. She froze, heart thundering. I love you. Her entire world stopped moving. No sound. No fear. Just the echo of those 3 impossible words vibrating through her chest. She touched his face, her voice breaking. Say it again. His eyes softened, dark and shining. I love you, Alana. Tears spilled down her cheeks. I love you too, she whispered. And I am not losing you tonight. He closed his eyes for a moment as if absorbing her words into every broken part of him. Then he slumped slightly. Daeho. I'm not dying, he murmured. But I need help. She ripped strips from her shirt and pressed them to his wounds, applying pressure like she did in the ER years ago. He winced but didn't pull away. I'm here, she whispered. She pressed harder. Stay with me. He breathed slowly, shakily, but he stayed conscious. Sirens approached outside, backup finally arriving. Guards shouted that the perimeter was secured. Alana heard footsteps racing toward them. But she didn't move. Didn't look away from him. Didn't let go. She leaned closer, trembling. Voice barely above a breath. I love you, she said again. His hand found hers. Weak but sure. And I am not letting you go. Ever. His lips lifted, just a small, pained smirk. Good, he whispered. Because I'm not letting you go either. As the guards surrounded them, as the danger faded, as his eyes fluttered closed in exhausted relief, Alana held him in her arms. Alive. Safe. Loved. And she knew. Whatever happened next, they were no longer fighting alone. 1 year later, the mansion looked nothing like the war zone it had been that night. Where bullet holes once scarred the walls, sunlight now streamed through repaired windows. New bamboo rustled outside, taller and greener than before. The air was quiet, peaceful. Calm in a way Alana once believed didn't exist in her world. She stood barefoot in the kitchen, flipping pancakes while Jaden sat at the island drawing a comic book for school. He hummed softly, relaxed, happy. That alone made every sleepless night worth it. Mom, he said without looking up, can I show him my new drawing when he wakes up? Him. Jaden didn't even need to say a name anymore. Of course, Alana said, brushing flour off her hands. He'll love it. As if summoned, a deep voice drifted from the hallway. I always love anything my son draws. Jaden grinned wide. Daeho. Alana turned, heart lifting in a way she still wasn't used to. Daeho walked into the kitchen wearing soft grey joggers and a black t-shirt, still dangerous, still intense, but somehow gentler now. His shoulder had long healed. His scars remained, but they were part of him, part of the story that brought them here. And he wore them without shame. When Jaden ran to him, Daeho leaned down and scooped him up like it was natural, like it was something he'd done forever. You're awake early, Alana teased, sliding a plate of pancakes onto the counter. I smelled breakfast, he replied, kissing the top of Jaden's head. And I heard chatter. That was me, Jaden said proudly. I'm making a comic about the white dragon saving a city. Daeho stiffened for a split second. But only Alana noticed. His past still lived inside him. But it no longer controlled him. Let me see, he said gently. Jaden flipped open the pages. Bold crown strokes, heroic poses, fire, shadows. And a woman drawn next to the dragon. That's Mom, Jaden announced. She saved the day too. Alana's breath caught. Daeho's eyes softened. You two saved each other, he murmured, handing the drawing back. Jaden beamed. Because we're a team. Yes, Daeho said, looking at Alana. We are. Heat curled in her stomach. A year together and he still had the power to make her melt with one look. Sit, she said, nudging him toward the island. Eat. You have a meeting today. He made a face. A boring meeting. With the Korean Chamber of Commerce, she reminded him. Very official. A faint smile tugged at his mouth. Do you know how strange it is to be invited to legal business meetings? Alana grinned. You do own 5 legitimate companies now. And 0 illegal ones, he added. She stepped closer, resting a hand on his chest. You rebuilt everything. You chose peace instead of violence. His eyes darkened, not with danger, but with something warm. Something only she saw. I chose you, he said quietly. Everything else followed. Her breath caught. Jaden gagged dramatically. Ew. Grown-ups in love. Alana laughed and ruffled his curls. Go get your backpack, silly. Jaden hopped off the stool and bounded out of the kitchen. When he disappeared around the corner, the room felt different. Quieter. Closer. Charged. Daeho stood, stepping into her space, cupping her face gently. His touch was warm, steady, nothing like the cold, guarded man she first met. You look beautiful this morning, he murmured. She raised an eyebrow. I'm literally covered in flour. Still beautiful. She swatted his chest lightly. Compliments at 7 in the morning should be illegal. He brushed his thumb along her jaw. So should making me fall in love with you every day. Her face flushed. Even after a year, he could still knock the air out of her without trying. She slid her arms around his waist, leaning into him. I love you too. He kissed her forehead, slow and gentle. I know. A pause. Then, unexpectedly, he stepped back slightly. Alana, he said softly. There's something I need to ask you. Her breath hitched. He only used that tone when something was serious. He walked to a drawer, opened it, and pulled out a small wooden box. Not fancy. Not flashy. Something humble and warm, just like him in private. Her heart began to pound. He turned back to her, holding the box like it carried his entire soul. When you walked into my life, he began slowly, I was lost. Angry. Alone. A king of nothing but shadows. Then you, someone I never should have met, risked everything to save my mother. Alana blinked hard as tears gathered. His voice was gravel-soft. And when I nearly died, you ran toward the danger instead of away. His jaw tightened, emotion flickering through him. You held me like I was worth saving. She pressed a trembling hand to her lips. He stepped closer. That night, I realized something. I don't want a life without you. Without Jaden. Without our family. Her vision blurred. He opened the box. Inside was a simple ring, gold band, one small diamond. Understated. Timeless. Beautiful in a way that felt personal. Not bought. Chosen. Her breath caught in her throat. He sank to one knee. Alana Price, he said, voice thick, will you marry me? Her knees buckled. One hand flew to her mouth, the other pressed over her heart. Daeho, her voice broke completely. Yes. 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 He exhaled, shaken, relieved, deeply moved, as he slid the ring onto her trembling finger. She pulled him up, kissing him through tears, holding him with everything she had. Jaden ran back into the room mid-kiss and froze. What's happening? Daeho smirked. Ask your mom. Alana wiped her cheeks, laughing. He asked me to marry him. Jaden's eyes widened. So, that means he's my? If you want, Daeho said gently. I'd be proud to be. Jaden dropped his backpack and ran straight into his arms. You already are. Daeho hugged him tightly, closing his eyes as if holding something fragile and precious. Alana watched them, heart bursting. They weren't broken people anymore. They weren't survivors anymore. They were family. A real one. Later, when they walked Jaden to the car for school, he grabbed both their hands and swung between them, giggling. Daeho squeezed Alana's fingers. Are you happy? She looked at him, The man who once terrified her, the man who now loved her deeper than breath. More than I ever thought possible. He leaned closer, whispering against her ear, "Forever starts now." She smiled. Forever wasn't long enough. And as they watched Jaden buckle in, safe and smiling, Alana knew. This wasn't the ending. This was the beginning. Their beginning.